Welcome back to Morning Joy, where truth matters. I'm Keith Downey, your host, and this morning we welcome back one of our great guests, Margaret Knapp, a talented singer-songwriter whose music has touched the hearts of many. Margaret's journey of faith is deeply inspiring, especially as we celebrate the memorial of St. Monica today. Good morning, Margaret, and welcome back to the show.
Good morning, Keith and Guadalupe Radio family. Thank you so much for having me on again. It's always so fun to come and hang out with you guys in the morning. So thanks again for having me.
Absolutely, and it's always a pleasure to have you join us this morning. Now, as Catholics, we know St. Monica is kind of the go-to saint for those of our children who have strayed away from the faith. But you have kind of a different perspective or different angle with St. Monica. So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so St. Monica is really important to myself and my family because when I was away from the faith, my aunt told my mom, St. Monica is who you have to pray to have help. And, it also takes a village. So my whole family was praying the rosary and praying for St. Monica's intercession for me to come back to the church, because St. Monica, of course, prayed for most of her life for her husband to convert, and thank God he did before he died, and then her son, of course, and eventually that did happen. So I think really just my whole relation to this is the story of hope and the story of, keep the faith. So yeah, St. Monica is really important, and her story is so beautiful. So
when did you find out that obviously your family was praying for you, but that St. Monica had this connection with you?
Probably not till I came back into the fold. Actually, it's kind of hard to tell someone that isn't Catholic, I prayed to St. Monica for you, and have them be like, oh, great. But yeah, when I came back into the faith, my mom, did tell me we had so many people praying for you, and St. Monica is such a powerful intercessory saint. So yeah, it was really only after I came back so she could feel comfortable telling me, we really were working so hard to get you back. And I feel like I could only appreciate that once I was on the other side of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. It might turn somebody off when you're like, yeah, we're praying to St. Monica for you. And you're like, okay, what does that mean? I don't know. Especially for
it's
those
like, it sounds a little condescending. You're like, thanks. Yeah,
gee,
no.
Thanks.
But it's
You're
actually such
people?
a sweet thing to do. Yeah.
It really is. It's so important. And I guess a question would be like, how can St. Monica's story inspire other mothers out there who are praying for their children's return to the faith? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I asked my mom this question actually because I was like, well, I'm not a mother, but, I do have friends and people in my life that are dear to me that are away from the faith. But from my mom's perspective, really just kind of reiterating, like, the prayers are not lost. Tears are not lost. They're so precious to God, so precious to Christ and our Blessed Mother. They see our pain, they see our tears, they hear our prayers, and they are not ignoring us. They are active in our lives and active, helping us, healing us, bringing us closer to Christ. So those prayers do have merit. And I think that was my mom's real message to me, was keep going even when it doesn't feel like it's working, or she said, don't believe what you see, right? Because the behaviors and decisions that people make now may not be the final state of their soul. And we know that with the prayers that it hopefully will not be.
Yeah. It reminds me, Dave Palmer's segment previously, we're talking about angels and how the difference between us and angels is one big one is that we have many second chances, that we can, always go back to confession and be in a great state of grace. And then sometimes we fall, sometimes we don't. So it's nice to have that to fall on as humans. How has your music influenced or been influenced by your faith and your journey back to the church?
Wow, yeah. My music before was probably just about expressing my emotions. Now there's a real mission behind it. And my soul was always in my music, but I just didn't have a direction for my soul. And that's why my soul got lost. And we have to figure out what it is that God wants us to do in our lives. And for me, music was quite obvious because I loved it so much and I wanted to do it. But now knowing that God gives you gifts for you to use for Him and not
Mm,
for your own gain or fame or fortune, accolades, anything like that, which most people getting into the music industry seek, uh,
yeah.
trying to fill some sort of void, versus this is a real act of service. And it is hard work to continue to do, especially as many of us also have full-time jobs outside of being a musician. So like Emma Frad likes to say, it's a small V vocation. It's something that you're dedicated to. She's another great musician, by the way. We just worked with her and her husband on her latest single.
Wow.
But the great Catholic artists out there. So, I mean, I think for me, it was about, getting connected, finding people who are like me, and then writing music to serve God. And that has totally changed my songwriting process now, lyrically, especially. The music, I feel like I have the melody there. Spiritually, it's always been connected, but the lyrics and the message were really what mainly changed.
Hmm. Do you find a lot of other musical artists out there have gone through the same journey as maybe they were Catholic, but they just weren't practicing the faith, or maybe they converted and then this really kind of drove their music? Is that something common?
I know that there are a few people out there that I talk to now on the line that have converted and do music, but
Mm,
I don't know if it's really I don't really know anybody that, at least right now, that has like really affected their songwriting style.
mm,
I think a lot of people do mostly secular music anyway, if they're not in the Christian praise and worship music genre specifically.
mm.
So I think that it's also tough to kind of break when you're an artist or a media persona to have your brand or your image. So once you have something like a conversion, I would expect that it would change every part of your life. But for the media and for continuity and for the sake of the brand, sometimes people don't always do that. So I
Yeah.
feel like if I do see it, it's more rare.
Yeah. How do you believe music can help fallen away Catholics reconnect with their faith?
There is music out there that doesn't fit the mold of what you think Christian music is.
Mm,
There's music out there that evangelizes you without you even knowing it. And I think that's what my aim is. Some of my songs are more literal, especially now, wanting to be a little bit more direct about, no, we are Catholic, we are for Christ, and this is what we do. However, there is an element of the evangelization that I want it to be subtle. I want it to be something that brings you in, like I mentioned, without knowing it, so that by the time you realize what it is, you can't believe that it's Catholic.
wow.
So, yeah, kind of playing the line between how do we have some of those songs that will bring them in kind of on a subconscious level, and then the other that is like very clear about no who we really are. So I think it can help people kind of, it's a gateway in some sense, and then there's also material for people who are just like on fire as well.
What's really cool is that obviously with your music, it's a great gateway for people to come into the faith, or at least come back. But it's interesting to see that there's other uh, elements within the industry like film and television that are starting to do the same. Like maybe they aren't explicitly Catholic, but there's a lot of themes that are Catholic. That there's people of solid faith that are in these industries that are very empty and soul sucking. So it's nice to see that there's a lot of artists out there that are trying to implement our Catholic faith into the world in a way that's not going to turn people's noses away initially, but really guides them in a direction that, hey, the Catholic Church, it's the fullness of truth. You should
Yeah.
join it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just released a couple music videos, and you're this year after releasing the album, and you're mentioning, media and video,
Hmm.
and we're looking at, the music videos that are being put out, and some of the, movies that you're mentioning, like they're all just grotesque or trying to catch your attention. And I think I wanted to do the exact opposite. I wanted to give them like an aesthetic or visual respite so they can just relax and feel good when they listen to the music. And it's supposed to be healing. I firmly believe that music is a healing tool. And I think that that's how it's really supposed to be used, supposed to unite and connect people. So I think, you know, there is a huge Catholic community, so I'm expecting big things from this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, especially in our church, we need unity. So anything that can help, especially like incredible music like your own and other Catholic artists out there that are trying to do the same. Music can definitely heal, and what better place to start than the Catholic Church? Is there anything else new happening with you and your music?
Yeah, we're working on album number 2, praise God, and St. Clair Records is the label. It's also just the last name of my fiance, so becoming a saint, hopefully, in many ways. But yeah, so we're working on a single that we're gonna put out, and don't want to give too much away, but new music coming soon for sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Margaret Knapp, for joining us once again. Always a pleasure to have you on Morning Joy. Thank you so much. You can find more. Just search Margaret Knapp, Spotify, anywhere you listen to your music at. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Let's keep spreading that truth and joy together. God bless, and make it a joyful day.